Hi all, welcome to the second video lecture on the basics of electricity. In the first session, the flow of electric current was covered in detail, so we take it on further from here. We are interested to know more about electric potential, potential difference and EMF, and direct current or DC circuits. So from our early learning in physics, we know about the concept of potential energy and kinetic energy. If a body is charged, then the work done to charge the body is stored as potential energy in it. This stored energy makes it possible for the body to do work on other charged bodies, either by repulsion or attraction. This ability is known as electric potential and its unit is volt. Thus, when 1 joule of work is done to give it a charge of 1 coulomb, its electric potential is 1 volt. Before the intense circuit analysis is done and students start using the technical terminologies, it is essential that they remain sorted on some terms which may be wrongly used. Potential difference and EMF are one such example. So let us view the circuit to be more clear. Here in the circuit you can see an EMF source E of 10 volts being supplied to a resistor of 5 ohms. So EMF is the energy given by the battery to each coulomb of charge. In this case, 10 joules per coulomb is being supplied by the battery. Whereas potential difference between 2 points A and B across the resistor is the energy given up by this charge to move from point A to point B in the circuit. So when we say that A and B are at a difference of potential, and because of this difference of potential a current flows through the resistor. So if you measure the potential difference, it will show you as V as 10 volts, while EMF E is the energy which is being supplied by the battery to this load resistor of 5 ohms. Now because if we travel from the negative to the positive side of the battery, the energy is being added, is being given to the body, so there is a rise in voltage, while when the charge moves from point A to B, it dissipates this energy in the form of heat, and therefore the convention is said to be the drop in voltage. The next topic of interest will be circuits. We begin with DC circuit. So what is a DC circuit? A closed path followed by the direct current consisting of a source, it may be a battery or a DC generator, and a load. A circuit is required for the conversion of electrical energy into other forms of energy such as heat, if we use a heater, and light, if we are using electric bulbs or lamps, and mechanical energy if there is a motor load, and there may be more examples of load. So when the flow of current in a circuit is unidirectional, then it is a direct current. Two graphical representation of direct current, two different types of direct current has been shown here. It is a current versus time relationship. So in the first case you see that the magnitude of current is stable over a period of time and it is unidirectional, of course. In the second type is also unidirectional current, only that the magnitude is varying with respect to time. Some examples of DC circuits can be seen in the home appliances which use electronic circuit boards. The requirement of such circuits is that they need a steady flow of low voltage and low current. A DC circuit deals with resistance primarily. There are other circuit parameters such as inductance and capacitance, but they remain passive because they are dependent on the frequency of supply. Now, unlike AC, DC does not have any oscillations of magnitude of voltage between the positive and the negative values. Therefore, its frequency factor F is 0. So you can see from the expression of XL and XC, which is the inductive reactance and the capacitive reactance respectively, which depend upon the frequency of supply F. Now in case of AC, because it alternates in nature, this frequency factor comes into play, and then you have to consider the inductance and capacitance in the circuit. But in case of DC, since the frequency is 0, therefore the elements are passive, and it is as if only the resistors are present in the circuit and only the resistors have to be dealt with. So DC circuit is resistive, and you have already known from your previous studies about the resistance of a material. What is a resistance, how it can be calculated, what it depends upon. So I will just recap it for you. The opposition offered by a substance to the flow of electric current, it is expressed in ohms. Now a DC circuit may be a simple or a complex network of 3 types: a series type circuit, a parallel type, and or a combination of series and parallel type. Now since we have to deal with resistors, it is good to know a little deal about various types of resistors which are used practically. So resistors are 2 types, linear and non-linear. Here we have listed out a few of the linear types of resistors with their pictures. Some of them are carbon composite resistor. These are carbon compositions which are encased in non-conductive porcelain. Their power rating depends upon mainly their size. There are potentiometric type of variable resistors, which are a 3-terminal device, and they are mostly used as voltage divider in the electronic circuits. Then there is the metal film resistor, which finds its applications in active filters and bridge circuits. All these resistors follow a linear relationship between the voltage and the current. That is, they follow the Ohm's law, where the ratio of V to I is constant. It is equal to the resistance. So non-linear resistors are those which do not follow the Ohm's law, and they do not follow a linear relationship between the voltage and the current. Some of the listed examples are thermistors. Thermistors have a negative temperature coefficient and they are heat sensitive. So beyond a certain voltage, the resistance of such materials, they tend to decrease because it gets heated up, it's heat sensitive. So as the heat increases, it affects the resistance value of these materials. The resistance decreases, and thus allowing more amount of current than it was doing earlier. So you can see a sharp shoot up in the value of VI characteristics beyond a certain voltage. They are mostly used because of their heat sensitivity. They are used for measurement and control of temperature and as current limiting device for circuit protection. Metal oxide varistors are another types of non-linear resistors. You can see a 2-quadrant operation here in the graph displayed between the voltage and the current. These are voltage dependent devices. So up to a certain value of voltage, you cannot see any increase in current, but beyond a knee point, there is a sharp shoot up in the current, which shows that these varistors come to play after a certain voltage is achieved. So in those circuits where the voltage surges are high, or there are transients, or there are lightning surges, they are used for over voltage protection, and also they are used in automobile. The third type is a photoresistor or a light dependent resistor. As the name suggests, the resistance of such material depends upon the intensity of light. So how? As the intensity of light increases, their resistance decreases. You can see a V versus I plot. For different luminous intensities, you get different plots. They look all similar, but each plot is associated with some luminous intensity. So they find their application in active filters and bridge circuits. So some of the examples of DC circuits which we can see around us, you can spot, are UPS motherboard. UPS stands for uninterrupted power supply, which is linked to a computer system, either at home or in the offices or in industrial areas. Then we have nowadays a lot of renewable energy resources which are being explored, and they are also being deployed to meet the ever increasing energy demand of the society. So a solar panel gives out a DC output for which DC circuits need to be deployed. So there will be an increase of DC circuit because now solar energy is being exploited everywhere, trying to be exploited. Then we have an inverter circuit. An inverter is a device which converts DC to AC. So one of the most relatable and common example will be a home inverter, which is used now everywhere. Everybody uses. Those who experience a disruption of power supply from the grid employ an inverter at home. The arrangement is simple. There is a battery which remains charged from the regular supply, and in case there is a disruption, this battery acts as the source and it supplies to the electrical load of the house, which is AC. So the DC supply needs to be converted through a complex circuit arrangement. This is a DC circuit which employs BJT, MOSFETs, or IGBTs. These are the semiconductor devices. So these are some of the examples which have been spotted from around us. Tell me in the comment section if you know more of any such DC circuits apart from these examples, and let us know more about where we can find more DC circuits. So that was all for this video session. Thank you for watching. If you have any queries or discussions, please mail me at electroshots.sessions@gmail.com. If you like the video, please click on the like button, and to remain updated for my next upcoming video, please do subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon. Till then, thank you and keep learning.